So here is shown the maximum enemy AI. So 1 and 2 are the front row. It writes here back row, but it's already fixed. 3 and 4 are back row. And yeah, well, it is. You could slide this over this one, so it will be partially hiding the used up AP, because there's only 2 or at maximum 3 cubes, and the cubes 3 cubes fit inside of such a thing. So you could make a little bit space like so, and you can also slide the back row over the front row a bit, but it's not ideal. Okay, now this is the enemy grid, it's called. Front row, back row. Verify that your guard abilities are flipped in the primary sites. Then there is the round order for the gameplay. A member of the guard always goes first unless the encounter or event specifies that the battle is an ambush. That are the red enemies, so the color shows it. The order in which the guards take the turn is important, as the order in which abilities activate and attacks are done can change the way enemies behave with their AI cards. So this is the typical SKJ sentence forming. You have the order in which the enemies, in which the guard takes a turn. And the order is important because the order in which abilities activate and the order in which attacks are done can change how enemies behave with their AI cards. Okay, try to memorize this. Okay, guard's turn. Check each equipped accessory for bonuses before each round. Discard all evasion chips. Choose a guard to activate. Then, if the guard bag is empty, refill it. Then draw chips one at a time. This drawing of the chips is it was actually the highlight of the earliest game, because as long as it's black, it counts, and as long as you draw a chip that is not black, then it doesn't count, and you continue on drawing until you have 3 or 4, I don't remember, of black chips. So at the very least you have say 5, 6 chips to play with. Okay, next actions may be taken in any order or not at all. It's a black dot thing. Black dot thing, black dot thing. Okay, it's fine. Then put it like so. All these pages are called gameplay. And as you can see, this is guard's turn continue, this is guard's turn continue. So at the very least you could put this here and save yourself a little bit of space. Also the font is a bit larger than necessary for A4. Gameplay, this is cleanup phase. This is retreating from battle, and narrative events, and narrative sequences. I think that's all. So that is point 3 from point 1 exploration phase, point 2 battle phase, point 3 narrative event phase. So the third game state mode. Narrative events and narrative sequences. As players explore the country of Isofarian, the narrative will prompt you to place a narrative event chip on the various maps on certain nodes. The narrative event chip has a book icon and is used for the main story events. Okay, then tell me, why are there 2 narrative event chips. One for in case you lose one. The scroll chip has a scroll icon and is used for side quests. Okay, so there are actually also scroll chips. Scroll chips. Scroll chips? Where the hell are scroll chips? Scroll chips? Oh yeah, here. Scroll chip. It's different. There's a black caravan chip and a black narrative. No, there is a narrative event chip and it is black. There's a scroll chip and it is black. Black is the indication of the side of the chip. And there is a caravan chip and a boat chip. Okay, so there is a specific black scroll chip. No, let's go back to 3. The scroll chip has a scroll icon and is used for side quests. So, actually the narrative event chip, there are 2. They are for the main story, main quest. There is a single scroll chip for a single side quest. You can unlock, I think, multiple side quests, but you cannot put the scroll chip on them. So how are you going, in case you find 2 side quests, or in case you found the second side quest and you put the scroll chip already on the first side quest to start it whenever you reach it, how are you going to keep track of the second side quest? I'm really not sure. Maybe you're supposed to only do one side quest and forget about any other, but then it is not a side quest in the proper sense or in an intuitive way. So what is a side quest in this game? I hope the reference guide will show us the light. When a player moves the guard's miniature or guard busts on narrative event chip, players will either read or listen using foreteller to the narrative before progressing. So you're not using foreteller most of the time during battle and during exploration. You're only using it for the narrative events. I think the biggest part of the books is the text that unfolds with the alternatives. But you don't have many alternatives if you only have a single scroll chip. Anyway, when landing on the narrative event chip itself, so the one that you placed on the map, the narrative event immediately triggers. Players may avoid triggering the narrative events by not landing on the chip. I would never have guessed. No, that's good. It's good that it's written like that. Battles that occur as a result of a narrative event are inescapable, cannot retreat, and usually more difficult than those encountered in the wild. Players may not equip anything or engage in guard customization during a narrative event or a narrative sequence. You, of course, may have something equipped, but before you jump into any narrative, you must have certain that you have equipped everything that you could possibly have, because from then on it's a chain. Okay, so during a narrative event or a narrative sequence, this may only be done during the exploration phase. What may only be done during the exploration phase? Oh, equip anything or engage in guard customization. Okay, that is what this is referring to. That is also a reason why I am kind of allergic to words like this. This normally, semantically, would refer to narrative sequence, but that is not. Narrative sequence may only be done during the exploration phase. Makes no sense. Once the narrative sequence triggers, players are locked into it until they emerge victorious or are defeated in battle. Now there is the question that what happens if you are defeated in battle? Normally you go to the last save point. What happens to the players when they are defeated in a narrative? Are they put back to the last save point, and is the narrative event chip then placed back, or is it put into the bag, or what happens to the narrative event chip itself, or what happens to the narrative state itself? So this is not very clear, or not clear enough for me. Scenes of the campaign are noted during maybe the game. Maybe it will all turn out right, but my experience tells me that these things do not turn out right. It should be in the rulebook. The scenes of the campaign are noted using the format below. The foreteller logo indicates that the track has audio narration included with the foreteller application. You see page 6 of foreteller. After the scene tile, you will see a dash in the guard's name. This tells you from which guard's perspective the scene is taking place. Okay, that's some kind of magical hat and a purple thing. I think that is the format below. Okay, so this can change, this can change, this can change, this can change. Okay, cool. Saving your progress. Yes. To save the game, if you don't have a tent item, you must travel to an inn nearby and pay the cost in sil. If you don't have to pay the cost in sil because you got defeated and you don't have the sil to pay for that, because, well, you want to save, you cannot. You lost all your sil because you were defeated, so you cannot save. You cannot pay for the inn. So where do you go then? This will give some trouble. Okay, sure, if you have a tent, you can use the tent. How do you get a tent then? Tent is imperative. Create a save point at current node and heal both cards by 10 hearts. And tents can be crafted at various areas in the game. Okay, so you pay for the stuff for the tent. You find some hide, you find some pine, and you ask somebody to make a nice tent design for you, and then you have it.